One of the things that confuses flat earthers the most is motion. They can't wrap their heads around the concept. So in their mind, the whole thing is nonsense and they dismiss it entirely. So when I saw Eric Dubay release a video on Earth's motion, I couldn't resist having a look. Hello all and welcome along to another video with me, Simon Dan. Thanks very much for joining me. Okay, on with today's video then, and Eric Dubay. His video is called Earth's Four Motions Are Nonsense. Yes, without any scientific training or extended physics knowledge, Eric Dubay decrees that the Earth's motion is not a thing. Let's have a look at why, shall we?
In the upcoming comparisons between a rotating spherical Earth and a non-spinning flat Earth, we will avoid exploring the seemingly endless back-and-forth arguments commonly found between the standard heliocentric model and the geocentric perspective. Instead, our focus will be on highlighting the consistent pattern that emerges when evaluating these two models through a select number of real-world examples drawing from both heliocentric and geocentric perspectives.
And by geocentric perspective, he is of course talking about his flat Earth model. And the thing is, real world examples don't support flat Earth or geocentrism at all. So let's go through these real world examples, shall we? And see just how many hoops Dubay is about to jump through to defend a model that they can't even explain completely.
The heliocentric model, with its spinning spherical Earth concept, consistently requires an array of intricate scientific calibrations, adjustments, and fixes for its highly implausible assertions to hold up.
What Dubay is really saying here is, I don't understand this, so therefore it must be false. It's personal incredulity 101. Complicated doesn't mean implausible, it means accurate.
The geocentric model, with a flat, stationary Earth at the center of our world, requires no use of adjustments, supplementary phenomena, or highly complex explanations to demonstrate its straightforward and uncomplicated operation. It just works.
Okay, let's test this "it just works" claim, shall we? Time zones don't work on a flat Earth. Sunsets don't work on a flat Earth. Southern star trails absolutely shatters flat Earth. Flights in the southern hemisphere impossible on the flat Earth map. Gravity, I'm not even going to go over that one. I think you get my point. The only reason it seems simple is because they hand wave away any contradiction. They say the sun moves in a circle, but never explains how or why it rises or sets. They just shrug and say perspective.
In the upcoming examples and scenarios, we will demonstrate the use of Okams Razor, named after the English Franciscan friar, philosopher, and theologian William of Ockham. This philosophical and scientific principle advises selecting the simplest hypothesis with the fewest assumptions when faced with competing explanations that predict similar outcomes.
Eric invoking Okams Razor here is extremely brave, considering his model requires an invisible dome, a magic spotlight sun doing laps over a dinner plate, and a worldwide conspiracy involving pilots, scientists, engineers, and literally every satellite photo ever taken. Okams Razor says to choose the simplest explanation that still explains all the evidence, not just the bits you like. So if you're choosing between a globe model that's backed by centuries of observations, mathematics and experiments, or a flat model that boils down to "it looks flat to me," then I think you will find Okams Razor especially sharp.
While I am certainly not telling you what to choose, I do aim to highlight a well-understood cognitive methodology that is straightforward and entirely applicable to our illustrative content moving forward. A simple and relatable application of Okams Razor involves waking up one morning, looking outside, and noticing that the streets are wet. Let us now explore 4 possible explanations for waking up to wet streets, noticing that each subsequent explanation requires more assumptions than the previous one, illustrating the principle of Okams Razor.
I think we know how Okams Razor works, Eric. We know that if the street is wet, the simplest explanation that's correct is that it's Flurf's tears. Let's get on to the Earth's motion, shall we?
Now, let's examine a real-world scenario where we can quite easily apply Okams Razor and assess the narrative presented by NASA and academic scholarly bodies. We will explore the 4 astounding velocities attributed to Earth by NASA and modern academia, alleged to occur simultaneously, in numerous directions, and even along arcing trajectories. Take a moment to decide if these 4 simultaneous and rapid movements seem plausible, considering that we do not perceive any sensation of them happening to us right now.
You talk about the word feel a lot, Eric. Our bodies didn't evolve, though, to detect constant motion. We feel acceleration, not velocity. That's why a roller coaster drop makes your stomach lurch, but you can still sit comfortably in a plane cruising at 500 miles per hour without spilling your drink. It's not just plausible that we don't feel that. It's exactly what physics predicts. The only reason that this feels odd to Eric is because he's treating I don't feel it as some sort of gotcha, when it's actually just how motion works. He would know this if he'd studied physics at any level.
First, Earth is claimed to rotate on its axis at about 1,000 miles per hour.
First off, you're using the wrong unit. Linear speed isn't the right way to think about it. What actually matters is angular velocity, how fast something rotates in terms of angle per unit time. And that, as you all know, is 15 degrees per hour, or twice as slow as the hour hand on a clock. We ain't feeling that. By the way, if you like the 15 degree per hour clock, link is in the description.
Next, Earth is claimed to orbit the Sun in an elliptical path at about 66,600 miles per hour.
Indeed, but we're not feeling this for a few reasons. It's a constant velocity, no sudden lurching or braking. Everything around us, atmosphere, oceans, the moon, is all moving with us. And we are in freefall around the sun, just like the ISS is in freefall around the Earth. That's what orbits are. And yes, it is elliptical, but only very slightly. Earth's orbit is nearly circular, with just a 3% variation in distance between perihelion and aphelion. So no, we don't wildly speed up and slow down throughout the year.
Lastly, our entire solar system, which is also in motion, is said to orbit the center of our galaxy at a speed of approximately 514,000 miles per hour.
Again, what matters for what we feel is acceleration. The acceleration involved in orbiting the galaxy is tiny, far too small for us to detect physically. We're not zigzagging through the cosmos. We're on a gentle, stable path that takes around 230 million years per lap. That's how long it takes the Sun and us to do one orbit of the Milky Way.
While our galaxy itself is said to be spiraling through the universe at an astounding speed of about 1,300,000 miles per hour.
At this scale, everything is relative. Galaxies move in response to gravity and dark matter, as well as cosmic expansion. We measure this movement through redshift. Light from distant galaxies gets stretched as they move further away. It's how we discovered the Big Bang. It is observed and catalogued and mapped across the sky.
Is it truly possible to rationalize and account for these extraordinary speeds and directional disparities, thus justifying our complete lack of perceived motion? NASA and the scientific community attempt to account for our lack of perceived motion through 5 key concepts. 1. Inertia and uniform motion. Inertia is a property of matter where an object will remain at rest or in uniform motion unless acted upon by an external force. When Earth and all objects on it travel at a constant velocity, there is no acceleration or deceleration to be felt.
It is truly possible to rationalise all these cosmic speeds and explain why we don't feel them. Yes, it is, Eric, truly. It's called physics. That first principle is bang on. Inertia.
2. Lack of reference points. On Earth, we lack fixed points in space against which we might directly measure our speed. In space, distant stars and galaxies can serve as reference points, but they are so far away that their relative motion appears very gradual, except over long timescales.
Yes, Eric, that's true. On Earth, we do lack fixed reference points in space that our senses can use to detect motion. Why? Because space is big, mind-bendingly big. The nearest star to us is 25 trillion miles away. That's not a distance that your senses can keep tabs on.
3. Relative motion. All motion is relative. we measure the speed of one object relative to another. On Earth, everything, including the atmosphere, is moving together at the same speed and direction due to Earth's rotation and orbit. There is no external point of reference that we perceive in our everyday life that would alert us to our speed.
So yes, Eric, all motion is relative. And I love how you say that like it's some radical, suspicious idea, when it's literally the foundation of classical and modern physics.
4. Gravitational forces. Our entire solar system's movement through the galaxy and the galaxy's movement through space are influenced by gravitational forces, which are smoothly applied and do not result in perceptible changes in speed or direction for those living on Earth.
Gravitational forces are incredibly smooth and consistent over time. We orbit the Sun because of gravity. The Sun orbits the galactic centre because of gravity. And all of this motion happens on such vast, gentle curves that there is no noticeable acceleration for us.
5. Scale and human perception. The speeds mentioned, like Earth's rotation at 1,000 miles per hour, or the galaxy moving at over 1,000,000 miles per hour, are incredibly vast on a human scale. But space is unimaginably vast. The distances involved dilute our ability to perceive these speeds. For example, despite Earth spinning at 1,000 miles per hour, the large circumference means it takes 24 hours to complete one rotation, a rate too slow to feel.
Yes, and once again, I bring to your attention the fact that our sensory systems are not built for things like this, for detecting slow and consistent movement over cosmic distances. They evolved to keep us from falling off cliffs and walking into bears, not to detect the sun's wobble relative to the galactic core. But our instruments can detect this. And that's the point. Science compensates for our limited perception. It's why we can measure the tiny redshift of distant galaxies, or the millimetre precision of Earth's axis.
Although quite sophisticated, these explanations can be overwhelming and difficult to integrate into a coherent understanding.
And this is classic flat earther personal incredulity. Science doesn't owe us simplicity. The universe isn't under any obligation to be easy to understand. It just is. And the job of science is to explain it, whether or not it gives Eric a headache.
As a result, the official narrative often becomes convoluted, causing many people to stop questioning it due to a sheer lack of comprehension. This presents an excellent opportunity to apply Okams Razor, especially for those now considering the possibility that Earth is not in motion, as the simplest explanation.
So according to Eric then, because real science can be complex, people stop questioning it out of confusion. And instead of encouraging learning or curiosity, his solution is to say, well, let's just give up. Because we can't be in motion because it's too complex to understand. That's not simpler, that's lazier.
The geocentric model, which posits a non-rotating, fixed and immovable Earth, explains our perceived lack of motion straightforwardly, requiring no explanations.
Sure, the flat Earth model doesn't need to explain motion, because it also doesn't bother explaining a lot of other things. Seasons, eclipses, satellites, gravity, air travel, tides, weather patterns, gyroscopes. I could go on forever. Science doesn't just declare things, it tests them. And every time we test Earth's motion, we get data that matches the heliocentric model perfectly.
In contrast, the heliocentric model continually requires adjustments and far-reaching explanations to maintain its credibility. Given the everyday lack of perceptible motion on Earth, should we perhaps start to consider the possibility that the simplest explanation is indeed that the Earth is motionless? Or should we continue to accept the complex multitude of explanations that attempt to support the heliocentric model?
We don't choose the model that's easiest to understand. We choose the one that stands up to scrutiny. The one that matches observations, makes accurate predictions, and holds up under every scientific test we can throw at it. And that model, without even the faintest shadow of a doubt, is the heliocentric one. It's not about what feels right, it's about what works. And the globe model does work flawlessly.
I certainly understand the reluctance of most people to challenge the mainstream view, given the social pressures of being labeled as conspiracy theorists. It is extremely difficult to introduce these ideas to others, which assert that we have been misled to a level this extreme about the true nature of Earth and cosmology. But I implore you, to do just that.
You implore, Eric, do you? No one's asking you to blindly believe science. We're asking you to test it. And when you do, every single piece of data, from solar angles to stellar parallax, points to the same conclusion. The Earth is a rotating sphere orbiting the Sun. The real imploring should be this: don't stop questioning, but also don't stop verifying. Challenge everything, of course, but make sure your challenges are based on something better other than it feels wrong. Well, there we go, everyone. What do we think of that one from Eric there? Let me know in the comments below. As I say, we're all done and dusted for another one. Thanks so much for watching today. As ever, it's appreciated. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing to the channel, hitting the thumbs up button too as well. And of course, share this video if the feeling takes you. I've been Simon Dan. Have yourselves a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow for Scamtarctica Debunking Part 7. See you then.